Hey, shalom, shalom, akiyam. First and foremost, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakha, Kwadash. I would also like to give a double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. I would also like to say peace and salutations to the hopeful elect, starting with the 144,000 men of Israel, which consists of the servants, the prophets, whom have been ordained since the foundations of this earth to sing this new song, which comes in the form of this gospel, which will be preached throughout all four corners of this earth and rest upon the ears of the innumerable multitude, men, women, and children of Israel, who may be scattered throughout all four corners of this earth. Shalom. Hey, shalom, beloved Akim and Akwath is just by on back again to the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power. All right, Yahweh Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, the true names of the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son. And I just wanted to get into a brief live stream real quick, talking to the involvement of Turkey, all right, with what's going on over there in Western Asia. And yeah, again, they're being put on the scopeo by the small hats. All right, about a week ago, the small hats had something to say regarding Turkey and how they're the next threat, all right, other than Iran. All right, and this is biblical prophecy is what it is. Biblical prophecy, prophecy is speaking. Okay, prophecy, man. All right, it's all about prophecy, prophecy, prophecy. This is what it is. All right, and no one's operating under their own will. Okay, prophecy is the end all and it's the be all. All right, and what we're witnessing is the gathering of the nations over there in the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, bro. It's going down. All right, it's going down, and brothers are reporting on it. All right, and we understand that this is all, rumors at this moment, but the rumors have escalated. All right, the rumors have escalated, and as the scriptures tell us regarding the rumors, all right, bear with me. Let me just get it real quick. I got some information as well through the Spirit. An article. I also have a video through the Spirit, Lord willing. I can share that with you, beloved Akim and Akwab. This is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 51, real quick, in verse 46, and it reads, "Unless your heart faint, right, your mind, your lab, right, and ye fear for the rumor that should be heard in the land," and the rumor's talking to the news. All right, it's talking to news, man. All right, and the men of the Lord are bringing forth this news regarding the tensions over there in the West, in its prophetic sense. You see, because you got a lot of people that are bringing this stuff out, truthers and geopolitical or geographical analysts, whatever you want to call them, economic analysts. They don't understand prophecy, though. You see what we're doing? We're bringing it out, and we're marrying it with prophecy. We're making it all make sense. We're making we understand what this is. We understand this is the buildup. Okay, this is the buildup. This is not the war to end all wars yet. This is just the buildup. What this is gonna do, and I speak as a man, is cause the economic downfall necessary, all right, for Esau to push forth a famine and transition this whole situation into this fourth industrial revolution, bro. And then things are gonna take a turn for the worse. Jeremiah 51 and 46, "Unless your heart faint and you fear for the rumor that should be heard in the land, a rumor should both come 1 year." So there's going to be news regarding wars and rumors of wars like Yahweh Shai warned us there would be.
right? Matthew the 24th chapter, he highlighted it. Luke 21 is also what's mentioned. But the end is not by and by. You see? This is just the beginning. Check it out. A rumor shall both come 1 year, and after that, another year shall come a rumor. And then what? Violence in the land. Okay? Ruler against ruler. So this thing is going to spill over. But it's going to come in the form of a process of events. You see? But now what we're witnessing here, all right, as I mentioned, let me go get this article real quick, is now Israel is putting the scopeo on Turkey, which we know Turkey, all right, is prophetically cohesive with end time prophecy. Now, real quick, this is from the Al Jazeera news source. All right, it's dated February 23rd, 2026. So prior to the situation, right? But check this out. All right, it reads this. This is the title. It says Turkish threat talked up in Israel as Netanyahu focuses on new alliances, man. All right, so these small hats are over there focusing on new alliances because they know they're in a vulnerable position. All right, so now they're trying to come to a conclusion. Who's with us and who's against us? All right, check this out. With the likelihood increasing of a United States attack on Iran, Israel politicians are already turning their attention to another regional rival. All right, and it's Turkey. All right, now Turkey, I typed in thing is if a Turkey allied with Iran. All right, and what you're gonna find out is that they're economic rivals, bro. All right, same thing with Turkey and Russia. All right, they're economic rivals, bro. They have a complex strategic partnership via economics. You see, which is dealing with what? Their money, bro. So you know that'll draw somebody in. So that's how that's how it's gonna play out. But check this out. I typed this in. This Turkey allied with Iran. It reads this. Matter of fact, I want to get it from Wikipedia, right? Turkey and Iran relations. It reads this. Iran and Turkey relations are the bilateral relations between the Islamic Republic of Iran and the Republic of Turkey. The two states have a complex relationship by competing over influence in Syria and the Caucasus through supporting opposing proxies as part of a proxy conflict. However, both countries also have some shared interests, as both are trade and economic partners. See that? The relationship is centuries old, dating to the 16th century, when Sunni Ottoman Empire and the Shia Safavid Empire fought each other for centuries. The two countries are also major trade partners and are perceived as mutually independent due to geographical proximity. Iran/Turkey border, as well as historical shared cultural, linguistic, and ethnic traits. Okay? Now, let me get this one. Let me go back to the article real quick. So this makes sense why these small hats are trying to target Turkey. All right, because they know they have the same cultural traits as Iran. You know? They want to control the whole region, these small hats, but it's not possible. It's not going to happen. The Lord didn't grant you access to the whole promised land, bro. That's why you're in a heads-up conflict over there right now. And the land belongs to neither one of y'all. You see? And all you nations over there that are impeding on our land are going to find that out in the days to come. But anyway, let's continue on. It reads this, back in the article. All right, it reads this. Former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett, who is expected to run and do well in the country's elections this year, was the latest prominent politician to declare Turkey a threat to Israel, bro. All right? These niggas are drawing in everybody, bro. Let me go get that precept. Now, this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 49 and verse 20, and it reads this. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he had taken against Edom, bro. Esau, Edom, the self-proclaimed white man, which the small hats over there in our land, those are Amalekites. All right, that's the chief house. That's the grandson. Amalek is the grandson of Esau. Okay? Amalek is the chief house of the Edomites. So it starts with them. Okay, this is the counsel that the Lord has taken against them. All right, from them to these Western Edomites, the European, all y'all Russians, all you guys, man. All right, but prophetically, the Lord's gonna use Russia, all right, to take out. The Lord's gonna use Esau to take out Esau. That's how he's gonna play this thing out, pursuant to Revelations. What's that? The 20th chapter. All right, Gog, Magog, and the dragon. They're gonna go at it, bro. Look at, therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord Yahweh that he had taken against Edom, and his purposes that he hath purposed against the inhabitants of Teman. All right, which Teman are the Germans, bro. All right, your Abraham Esau's. All right, yeah, that's a real physicist. Look him up, Abraham Esau. All right, he's a major player. All right, when it comes to these weapons of mass destruction, the Lord put the spirit on him. Right, and obviously you got your Robert Oppenheimers and the rest of these German physicists that were, major players in bringing forth the Lord's weapons of mass destruction, bro. Look at, surely the least of the flock shall draw them out, which is talking to Amalek, bro. All right, Israel is talking to Israel, man. The Israelis. All right, surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them, because they're all gonna lose. There's a little bit more. And they're drawing out Babylon the Great and the rest of these nations too, bro. Israel's the center of the tensions over there, bro. You know? Check it out. The earth is moved at the noise of their fall, at the cry. The noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea. Now, what I wanted to do, I want to get this in a Good News Bible real quick, right? This is the book of Jeremiah. It's written a little different, but it still hits, though. Jeremiah 49. And verse 20, and guess what? The heading reads this, right? The Lord's judgment on Edom. All right, judgment is coming for you, Edom. Here we go. The book of Jeremiah, chapter 49, and verse 20, and it reads, let's see here. I'm going to start at verse 19, and it reads this. Like a lion coming out of the thick woods along the Jordan up to the green pasture land, I will come and make the Edomites run away suddenly from their country, bro. All right, we know the lion is Yahweh Shai. All right, it's from the tribe of Judah, bro. All right, look at, then the leader I choose will rule the nation. Who can be compared to me? Who would dare challenge me? What ruler could oppose me, man? All right, and this is what you heathen are going to find out, bro. All right, here it is. You take counsel against the Lord and his hidden ones, right? They're raging and imagining a vain thing. But at the end of the day, you're going to go toe-to-toe with Yahweh Shai, man. And you're going to realize that you ain't got a chance in hell, all right, to come up against the King of Kings and the Lords of Lords, bro. All right, look at verse 20. So listen to the plan that I have made against the people of Edom. Now remember, Edom is the head heathen as well. The nation of Edom is the head heathen. This is why when you read Isaiah 63, it's Edom that the Lord has in his scopeo, bro. All right, when you read Psalms 83, it's Edom, the first nation, as far as being an enemy to Israel and us true Israelites in our power. Edom is the first nation mentioned. All right. Matter of fact, Esau is mentioned twice in the form of Edom and Amalek. Okay. Showing you that they're an arch enemy, man. Look, let's continue on. And let me read it from the top. So listen to the plan that I have made against the people of Edom, and to what I intend to do to the people of the city of Teman. Even their children will be dragged off, and everyone, and where you going to be dragged off to? War. All right. Look at, and everyone will be horrified. When Edom falls, there will, and that's the spirit, horn chimed in. When Edom falls, there will be such a noise that the entire earth will shake, and the cries of alarm will be heard as far as the Gulf of Aqaba, man, or of Arabia. Forgive me. All right? The enemy will attack Basra. And why? Why is it going to be such a emphatic, dramatic fall of Esau? Because it's going to be a thermonuclear fallout, bro. All right, there will be an intercontinental ballistic missile exchange, bro. All right, as we get towards the tail end of this thing, upon salvation of the elect of Israel and the transition of eons, bro. All right, this thing will end. with an intercontinental ballistic missile exchange. Babylon being invaded. This is the reality. This is the reality of prophecy, man. Look, let's continue on. When Edom falls, there will be such a noise that the entire earth will shake, and the cries of alarm will be heard as far as the Gulf of Arabia. The enemy will attack Basra like an eagle swooping down with outspread wings. On that day, Edom's soldiers will be as frightened as a woman in labor, bro. All right, so no mighty man, as the scripture says, they're going to hold their loins like a woman in travail. All right, wait until the king of terror gets on your ass, man. All right, y'all sitting up here boasting and talking all this rhetoric. Nah, man, wait until the Lord gets up on your ass. But needless to say, going back to the point, all right, these small hats are threatening Turkey, bro. Now, I got a quick little video as well. Bear with me. Let me see if I can find this real quick. I had it up. And we got to remember, bear with me, that Turkey and Russia, all right, they're economic allies as well. All right. So this thing, you can already see how this thing is going to fall into place if you're looking at it with a prophetic lens. And that's the spirit. You heard the horn. But needless to say, check this out. This is fair use, fair use. I'm not making any monetary gain, all right, off of this video. All right, this is for educational purposes only. And for the sake of prophecy, fair use, fair use. All right, check this out. Bear with me. Come on now. All right, here we go.
As reports and officials discuss possible U.S. military options on Iran, Israeli politicians are widening the threat narrative to include another regional rival, Turkey. Former Israeli Prime Minister Naftali Bennett used a speech at the Conference of Presidents of major American Jewish organizations in Jerusalem last Tuesday to issue a blunt strategic warning. I-24 News and the Media Line reported Bennett said Turkey is the new Iran, a political framing rather than an agreed intelligence conclusion. Bennett described Erdogan as a sophisticated and dangerous adversary who seeks to encircle Israel. Bennett argued Turkey and Qatar empower Islamist movements in the region, his characterization rather than an independently verified assessment. He claimed an emerging Sunni axis could include Pakistan, though he did not provide evidence, and other governments have not endorsed this framing. A new Turkish threat is emerging, Bennett said, according to Israel National News. We must act in different ways, but simultaneously against the threat from Tehran and against the hostility from Ankara. Bennett criticized what he called years of containment and urged a more proactive posture, according to the Media Line. He argued that Israeli leaders had invested too long in barriers and deterrence while postponing decisive action. He called for replacing that approach with what he described as a doctrine of initiative, pledging that hostile forces would never again be allowed to entrench themselves along Israel's borders. Bennett also directed criticism at Israel's current leadership, saying the country is more divided than ever. Israeli political reporting suggests Bennett is positioning for the next election, though timelines and outcomes remain uncertain. Days later, Prime Minister Benjamin...
You know what I mean? He said that the small hats are more divided than ever. And we already know, pursuant to the book of Mark, all right, this is that's a stage, all right, to a fallen empire, pursuant to what Yahweh Shai said. So everything is working perfectly.
Netanyahu unveiled his own diplomatic vision. Speaking at his weekly cabinet meeting on Sunday, Netanyahu described a proposed hexagon of alliances, a network of nations spanning the Middle East, the Mediterranean, Africa, and Asia. He explicitly named India, Greece, and Cyprus as part of the framework, along with unspecified Arab, African, and Asian states, according to the Times of Israel. Netanyahu's office and Israeli and Indian outlets report that Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is scheduled to visit Israel this week for talks on defense, artificial intelligence, and trade. Netanyahu framed the proposed alliance as a counterweight to what he described as two radical formations. The intention here is to create an axis of nations that see eye to eye on the reality, challenges, and goals against the radical axis, he said, referring to both the radical Shia axis, which Israel claims to have struck very hard, and what he called the emerging radical Sunni axis. He did not specify which countries he considered radical Sunni states, but the timing of his remarks, coming just days after Bennett's anti-Turkey speech, was widely noted by analysts. So far, no public endorsement of the hexagon framing has been widely reported. Al Jazeera noted that 2 of the 3 countries Netanyahu named, Greece and Cyprus, are members of the International Criminal Court. Al Jazeera reported the ICC issued warrants for Netanyahu on war crimes charges related to the assault on Gaza, and as ICC member states, Greece and Cyprus are generally obliged to enforce them, though enforcement can be politically contested. The defense dimension of the Israel-Greece-Cyprus trilateral relationship has expanded rapidly. Reuters reported Greece approved the purchase of 36 PULS rocket artillery systems from Israel, valued at approximately 650 million euros, and is discussing a separate missile defense package around 3 billion euros. Cyprus has also received Israeli-made air defense systems. These military ties are widely seen as partly aimed at Turkey, with which both Greece and Cyprus have long-standing territorial disputes in the eastern Mediterranean. Former Israeli ambassador Elon Pincus told Al Jazeera that Israeli leaders often lean on threat narratives, his assessment rather than a verified fact. Politicians like Naftali Bennett and Benjamin Netanyahu rely on the perpetual threat of war, Pincus said. If it was not Turkey, it would be Iraq. If it was not Iraq, it would be Hezbollah. If it was not Hezbollah, it would be the Muslim Brotherhood. It does not matter who. There just always needs to be a threat. Since the Hamas-led attack of...
You hear this dude? Hold on, bear with me. You see, if he said if it's not Turkey, it'll be Iraq. If not Iraq, Iran. All right, because again, a lot of them have a similar culture, as we know. We looked into that, but needless to say, this is just prophecy, though. This is the way prophecy is going to transition. All right. Again, these small hats want control. They want all that land out there. Okay, but the Lord put put a cap on them as far as how much access they have to the Lord's favorite pit. You see? Now, again, the title of this video is Turkey will go to war with Israel, bro. All right, prophecy is speaking, man. All right, let's go get the prophecy. Now, what we got to understand, which we know, you beloved Aki Aminakwa, you're aware, pursuant to Ezekiel 38, this is where we're going. Let's go get it. That Turkey's going to be rolling with Russia. All right? Russia's going to lead the charge. You see that? This is the way this thing's going to play out. This is why tensions stay high with Russia and Babylon the Great. You know what I mean? This is why none of those peace talks that Trump had with Putin, for 90-minute peace talk, none of it transitioned into anything, because pursuant to Isaiah. All right, matter of fact, let me go get that real quick, Babak Rashah. Let me go get this real quick in the book of Isaiah. I'm going to go straight to the point. Isaiah 13 and verse 17, it reads this. Behold, it says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. Now, let me start from verse 1 and jump down. Isaiah 13 and 1, the burden of Babylon, which Isaiah the son of Amos did see. This Babylon's talking to America, the daughter of Babylon. All right? This is who this is talking to. How we know? All you got to do is go through the chapter and you can see that none of this took place in Babel, all right, via Nimrod. None of this took place during the Neo-Babylonian Empire, all right, during Nebuchadnezzar. None of this happened. This is talking to a future Babylon, okay? And any well-to-do scholar would tell you that, like, yeah, it can't be talking about those two Babylons. But anyways, jumping down now to verse 17, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. This I is Yahweh Bashim Yahushai. He will stir up the Medes, which is Russia. If you look on a map, all right, geographically, Russia is in the same territory, or in the same region, rather, I should use the better word, of the Medes. All right, that will put them in position. This is precept. This is talking about Russia, bro. All right, the Medes. This is talking about Russia. The Lord's gonna stir up Russia against Babylon, man. Hence, if we fast forward to Revelations 20. All right, look it. Which shall not regard silver. Here's the reason why I came here. And for gold, they shall not delight in. There's going to be no peace talks. There's going to be no reasoning. There's going to be no conclusion besides hit the button. Okay? Hit the button. Now, real quick. Ezekiel. Chapter 38. right? And we gotta understand and remember that hey, Russia's an enemy to the Lord too. The Lord's just using Russia as a tool. Okay? All you heathen are gonna lose. Ezekiel 38:1, and the word of the Lord Yahweh came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog, and Salachya, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, right? The chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against him, bro. Just like how the Lord told us in Ezekiel 35, that set our face against Mount Seir and prophesy against it. The Lord's against Esau. The Russians are Edomites as well. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the Lord's going to use Esau to take out Esau, which is echoing Psalms 38, that they're going to fall upon their own sword, right? And say, thus saith the Lord, power Yahweh, behold, I am against thee, O God, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and I will turn thee back and put hooks in thy jaws, and I will bring thee forth and all thine army, man. All right, the Lord's going to turn Russia back to that USSR spirit, bro. Okay? That's why it's not a coincidence that the Lord allowed all those silos over there in that region to stay relevant. Now, granted, they weren't active, all right, but they're still relevant. All they got to do is go in there, push a couple of buttons, and them motherfucking generators are on, and it's active now. Okay? And they can send a glittering sword out of one of them silos. They're there. The Lord did that. The Lord preserved those silos on purpose for the sake of the now. Here we go. You see, so the Lord's turning them back. The Lord's turning Russia back. All right, the Lord got a bone to pick with the Western bloc, bro. Remember, they lost that Cold War. You know, so you already know Russia's looking with the side eye, like, oh, we might this one right here. You know, we got this one. You know, check it out. And I will bring thee forth in all thine army, horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords. And Russia has a massive thermonuclear weapons program, bro, that the West has been craving to get control over. You know? But no, Russia won't let them go into their facilities. They won't let them tap into what they're doing, bro. All right? Because this is the work of the Lord. You see? Look at Persia. Who's Persia? The Carmanians. Who are the Carmanians? Iran. All right? The first nation on the list is Persia, bro. You see? In real time, Russia's supplying Persia with Su-57s, all types of missiles. Okay? This is not a coincidence, bro. All right, Ethiopia, Salachya, and Libya, right? Them Hamite countries, bro. They're tied into the bricks hard, right? With them, all of them with shield and helmet, bro. Geared up, war ready. Okay, look, Gomer and all his bands, the house of Targum, man. We're just talking to Turkey. Okay, we're just talking to Turkey. They're gonna come in the mix. Okay, they're gonna come through. Look at of the North quarters. Turkey's in the north over there. Look it up. Look at in all his bands and many people with thee, bro. All right. Look at, but be thou prepared and prepare for thyself. Talking to Russia, right? And all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Hence why Russia is in the position where, again, they're supplying these smaller nations with all this artillery, bro. Okay? Iran has a stockpile of weapons, bro. America's going to run out of ammo. That's the word on the street. All right? Via these specific wartime veterans / analysis / insiders, bro. Babylon the Great, Trump made a strategic mistake. All right? Iran has planned for this. They're willing to. They're prepared to go through the straight gate. Okay, the long haul. All right. They have a plan. They set up. They've hidden, their main resources underground somewhere. Niggas don't know where it's at. You know what I mean? But the West news media dresses up the story as if they did some damage, man. Nah, man. All right. According to according to Eastern news feed, okay, Israel and Babylon are getting their ass handed to them, bro. Okay? Getting their ass handed to them, bro. As a matter of fact, I'm going to leave you with this real quick. Now, this is the beloved elder out of London. He had did a live yesterday, right? And he showed some footage. Let me get this real quick. Let me see if I can get this quick. Bear with me. I wasn't prepared to get this. Let me just go here. I can get them from my subscriptions quick. Let's see what we got. Boom. Boom. There he goes. All right, let's see what we got. Is it this one? Yeah, this is this one. Now check this out, man. Bear with me.
Fair use, Copyright Act 19.
I'm gonna play some of this. Now check out some of Iran's artillery, bro.
Alright, so that's 3. Miss. Oh.
Did you see that? That was me.
Hold on.
Desert, okay?
5, 6, 7.
Hold on. Yeah, this is the one I want. Bear with me.
Okay, and here's another Fatah missile, right?
Now they're gonna send a flurry.
Look how many.
See how many? Sorry, he was going to say it, but look at my interceptors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. They're sending up 7 interceptors for this one missile because they're not being able to take them down, family.
The Golden
They're
Dome,
not
right?
being able to take them down.
So much for the Golden Dome.
Look how many interceptors. That is just pathetic.
Yeah.
See how he just missed it? Yeah? Here's another one. Another failed interception. Right, you can see it goes right past, and I mean, the risk in terms of the Israeli point of view of all this is that you're exhausting and depleting their their supplies, their stockpiles,
And that's exactly what's going on, because I'm sure if I remember this morning, it says the Washington Post was saying that America stockpiles. Let me see if I can quickly find it.
They're running low. Hold on. There's another video I want to show you in this brother's lesson. Let me see. He plays it later. Let me go get this real quick. You got to see this. Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me see here. Where is it?
You can hear people celebrating in the background. It's an extraordinary display.
Here we go.
This new Iran, a meteor.
I'm going to bring this back a little bit.
How are they going to intercept, a dozen? Here's another clip. See that? A lost cause, honestly. Yeah. You can hear people celebrating in the background, right? So you see all of those coming down like, a meteor shower, basically. It looks like a meteor shower. That's the Khaybar, okay? The Khorramshahr 4.
Yeah, here we go.
This new
This
Iranian,
is it right here.
Missile. And this clip is the wildest one of them all.
Check
video,
this out.
absolutely insane. I mean, it's an extraordinary display.
Oh man, that's a trailer load. This is what you're not going to see in the mainstream media. Iran is hitting back hard. Understand this.
You know, when I see all of this, what I'm reminded of, I'm very big on World War II history, and
Yeah, man. You see? So that's the reality of what's going on over there, bro. All right? Hey, let the weak say I'm strong. Prophecy is speaking. The majority of those missiles you see them using, who do you think they got it from? Yeah, you already know. Russia, bro. Russia, man. This, man, listen. Babylon's through. All right, they're lying. right there on the live on the podium. They're sitting up there lying. All right, from Trump to Pete Hegseth to this other dude. I forgot his name. All right, just lying. All right, but hey, prophecy at the end of the day is gonna speak the reality of what's truly happening, man. And whatever, hey, you already know, like the scriptures say, what's in the dark will come to the light. You can only lie for so long, bro. All Esau's doing is chasing his tail, is what he's doing. All right, he's fighting a losing battle. And old boy, okay, the chief commander, all right, has made a strategic mistake. And again, this is just a rumor. It's just a build-up to the climax. Expect the chip and Jacob's trouble and all hell breaking loose right around the corner. It's got to be. All right, it's got to be, man. But yeah, man, hey, Lord willing, you beloved, Aki Aminakwath will edify apparatus that you were spiritually fed through the spirit, power, mercy, and grace of our power, Yahweh, Bashim, Yahweh, Shai. Hey, Lord willing, you were informed. All right, Abaratazah, you were edified. Hey, with that, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh, Shai. Bahashem, Rachak, Wadash, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, where I learned this 144% truth. Hey, stay prayed up, fast as well as pray. Pray for shorter days, man. Okay, hey, Yahweh Shai is on his way, bro. Yahweh Shai is on his way, beloved Akim and Akwab. Hey, till next time.